Hi, I'm Charlotte and this is Tired Mama Tries to Read. So I'm back with my second instalment of my books that I've bought in the last week. Some of them are secondhand, some of them are from real bookshops, and I confess that a lot of them are online this month. So I've still got a couple more that are due to arrive. I'm getting in lots of trouble whenever the postman knocks. I get books again shouted from the door. Yeah, you can't deny it's a book, can you? It doesn't matter how they package it, it's definitely a book. So I'm going to have to start getting them delivered to my work. I think that makes more sense. Okay, the first one was a bargain, so no one can complain about this. And that was The End We Start From. Really gorgeous cover. This is by Megan Hunter. And I got this for £1.99 from Oxfam. It's a really new book, actually, only 2017, and it's kind of an apocalyptic story of a woman giving birth just as London gets flooded in a kind of end of days way. But as all this trauma is occurring, her child begins to grow, and it's apparently quite an uplifting ending about fresh life and new hope. It's written in a really sort of interesting, sort of little excerpts kind of way, which I think will be cool, and I think it's going to be a really quick read. So that was that one. I couldn't resist. This one is Notes on a Nervous Planet by Matt Haig. This one has been knocking about on lots of bestseller lists, so you've probably seen it. This is the author of Reasons to Stay Alive, which was huge last year, and he's also written some fiction. I remember him for The Radleys, which I'd love to read. I remember almost buying it when I worked in the bookshop, so I need to pick that up now. This is also written in the quite sort of punchy style, with really short chapters. I mean, it's called Notes, so I think that's basically how it works. Yeah, it's hard to sort of show you, but they're only a couple, some of them are just like a couple of pages long or a page. And this is about Matt Haig's views and thoughts of how we can get out of this anxious age that we're in. And as somebody with anxiety, I can definitely feel the need to do that too. So I'm interested to see what he says. There's loads of great reviews from Stephen Fry, Joe Brand, Ruby Wax. The main questions he says: how can we stay sane on a planet that makes us mad? How do we stay human in a technological world? How do we feel happy when we are encouraged to be anxious? Okay, and the next book I've got, A Line Made by Walking, is kind of a similar mental health journey. This is by Sara Baume, shortlisted for the Goldsmiths Prize. And again, this is quite new, but I got this, did I get it second hand? Can't remember. This is a fiction book about Frankie, who is 20-something and she's tired of living in an urban setting. She's confused. So she's anxious. So she moves to a sort of abandoned bungalow. I think it's her grandmother's, which is in the country. And she's a photographer, so she takes her camera and she turns her lens to nature to try and figure out life, really. So it's all about the sort of cyclical nature of life and death. As you can see on the cover, you've got foxes, badgers, hares. Yeah, I think this one, I actually thought it was a biography when I bought it. As a novel, it might work better, actually. So I'm definitely going to try and read these, maybe one after the other, to sort of really embrace change, positive change. This one is Beautiful Ruins by Jess Walter, who I thought was a woman, but actually is a man, and so that's quite good because I very rarely read men. So I've got my Matt Haig and I've got my Jess Walter now, and I can feel like I have read the opposite sex for once. I think this is going to be a bit of a kind of summer read. It's about a dying actress on the sun-drenched coasts of Italy. I get the feeling it's kind of going to be a wrapping up of her life and idea of what the future is. Yeah, it's meant to be inventive, funny, tender and constantly surprising, about fabulous and flawed people, all of them striving towards another sort of life, a future that is both delightful and yet tantalisingly seems just out of reach. So I'm not expecting it to be like a life-changing book, but sometimes you need something a little bit different. And then the last one I've got is Kith, which arrived this morning. and this is by Griffiths. And I've seen a lot of Griffiths books around recently. Obviously Wild is her most famous one. Her newest one is Trista Mania, which I've seen on loads of booktubers recommends, and I would love to get Trista Mania. It looks right up my street. But Kith is what drew me, because this is The Riddle of Childscape. So this is about, she looks into why it is that sort of, I think, does she say European? Is that how she... Euro-American cultures seem to have children that are unhappy, whereas in other countries, especially in third world countries, she sees in her travels children that truly seem to be extremely happy, and she wonders what that is, what is going on there, because they're living in poverty-stricken situations. They're often not in a school system, so I feel like this is going to be the sort of book that makes me want to home educate for about 2 days, and then I'll quickly be pleased that I won't be doing that. I would be interested to know what she's got to say as a parent, but also as a person who, I think this follows the same mental health journey. What is it that makes human beings happy? What do we need to do to get back to our true selves? So I think anyone can return to childhood mentally in that way. So those are they. Quite a big stack of books, and seeing as the other stack of books from last month is still, I've still got about 5 that I haven't read, so it could be, I might have to tone it down a bit next month and maybe get some library books instead to show you. Okay, there we go. I hope you're having a good day, and the next video will probably be a review video, so I shall see you then. Bye!